This next technique I want to take a look at is, well, it's going to be arpeggios versus pentatonics, but looking at the same technique, which is going to be tapping. There's a lot of tapping licks which probably look like arpeggios that might not be, and things that look like pentatonic but might not be either. The sort of difference in sounding between tapping a pentatonic and tapping an arpeggio, I think are pretty obvious, like to my ears. Say, like at slow tempo, you might have a tapped arpeggio which looks like this. Okay, so that's just starting in the same sort of position as what a pentatonic would, but you're kind of moving out with the left hand and then adding in the third note with your tapping finger. But the cool thing about that is you can sort of use the framework of a pentatonic scale to be able to sort of like come out of it and go back into it, and then actually tap into a pentatonic as well. So the exercise that I've written is going to combine arpeggios basically and pentatonic, so it's going to look like this. So the first part of this exercise is going to be using an arpeggio. This is probably the hardest part because we're moving out of position sort of diagonally up to the D string. So we're going to be playing this in 3 octaves basically. So the first octave is going to be 12, 15 low E, and then tap the 19th fret on the low E string. Then skip over the A string and play 14, 17, and then 21. So it's the same shape but moved up 2 frets basically on another string. It's also worth mentioning that using your right hand to palm mute the strings can also help with unwanted string noise. And when you're tapping low down on the guitar, your first finger is pretty much muting all the strings underneath anyway. So it normally starts with muting with this part of your hand, and then as you go up the guitar, you're using this part of your hand to get rid of those strings here. So the muting kind of duties swap between your left and right hand depending on where you are on the guitar. You just kind of have to get your head around it, if you like. Okay, so we're going up and down the arpeggio. Then we're going back into the pentatonic shape, so we're going to have this idea. So it still involves string skipping, but it's a lot less jumping around for the left hand to do. Then starting from the same point again at the 12th fret and the low E, you're going to make a bigger skip this time to the G string, up to the high E string, still staying within that pentatonic framework in your left hand. Then you're going to have that string skipping tapping lick coming down, which is pretty much strictly pentatonic. If at any point you get lost in this video tutorial, then there will be the tab available in the magazine so you can follow all of this crazy stuff. So at a slow tempo, the whole thing should look like this.